Today, we're talking Star Trek action figures with Brian Volk-Weiss, CEO of the Nacelle Company. We've been following the development of this exciting new range of action figures since they were first announced. But the fun of figures does not stop there. Nacelle have also teased a brand new Build the Bridge set coming later this year. In today's interview, we'll learn more about the action figure line and what the response from the Star Trek community has been. If you want to order these Star Trek action figures, then Wave 1, which features the likes of Captain Sulu and also Edward Jellicoe and even Weyoun, is on sale now. UK customers, you can visit our partner website, The Cargo Bay, link somewhere here, for great shipping rates and fast delivery in the UK. While USA customers, you can visit Nacelle's own website directly. All the links are below. Go and get them as they look really, really cool. Keep an eye out for a review later this week. Which figure from Nacelle's Star Trek Wave 1 are you most excited for? Personally, it might be Weyoun for me. Okay, let's see what Brian has to say and enjoy the video. Brian, thank you for joining us on Trek Central. It is a pleasure to have you here once again.
Thank you for having me back. Never take it for granted. That came out weird. I didn't mean you should never take it for granted. I meant I never take it for granted being asked back.
Let's talk about Star Trek figures. Because the last time we spoke about this, they weren't shipping yet, and they were still in development, I think, the last time we spoke.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, now people are getting them in their hands. I've seen on your stories, I've seen in Facebook groups and such, people have got these figures, the boxes look amazing. But before we talk about that, I want to ask and recap one sort of thing. What's with this selection of figures? You've told me before why we've gone for this line for Wave 1, but let's recap it for those who maybe this is their first time seeing Wave 1. Why these characters?
So I'll give you the personal answer and I'll give you the business answer. The personal answer is, I have at least 300 Star Trek figures in my collection, over 1,000 Star Trek pieces in total. And I wanted Captain Garrett. Yesterday's Enterprise is my favorite Star Trek episode of all time. I wanted Captain Jellicoe. Chain of Command is my second favorite Star Trek episode of all time. And that really was the inspiration for the whole thing. Long before we started making toys, I know a lot of people that work at the other toy companies because of Toys That Made Us. And, I recommended this to Super 7, NECA, McFarlane, everybody. Understandably, what I was recommending was a little crazy. So luckily, when we got the license, the way it worked was we like anybody, we had to make a pitch to get the license. And my pitch was to do the figures, to do the characters that had never been done before, to fill in the holes in everybody's collection, but also to do characters that had been done, but in costumes or uniforms that had never been done. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, and it's always tough to explain this, but let's just say that a lot of people were not thrilled with the characters that were made before us. It was a lot of Captain Kirks, a lot of Spocks, a lot of Picards and Datas. So I wanted to send a message to the community with our first foot forward that we were different. So we're going to take a Klingon from a 40-year-old movie who was on screen for 80 seconds. That's who we're doing. But we'll give you the Genesis device with Valkyris. So that's really what we were trying to do with Wave 1, as with the figures, but also the accessories. I know damn well, that Jellicoe was the one who said, get rid of the fish tank. So first of all, we wanted to have a little fun and, we wanted to make a fun toy line. So we wanted to have an inside joke with the people who would be buying a Jellicoe. But on top of that, I knew a lot of people, myself included, had a lot of Picards, and that fish tank would look great with Picard. Don't tell Patrick Stewart that. So in the pictures that I've been seeing, I have seen so many pictures of two things. One, Picard with the fish tank, Super 7's Picard, the Diamond Select, Art Asylum's Picard with our fish tank. And then I've seen a lot of fan art of multiple people have sent us artwork of Jellicoe shooting the fish tank with a phaser. And that's what we were trying to do, is have fun, but also provide an accessory that could work with the stuff that came before us.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and I think you mentioned it, like the fact people would be able to create these own scenarios as well kind of like goes back. I remember days growing up playing with action figures, and you saw on screen and then you created your own sort of adventures. So that people are still doing that now with these figures from, again, like 40-year-old TV show is really impressive.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why we did what we did.
So they've been out in the wild now, people are actually getting them, and I think one of the most impressive things is seeing people's reactions to this. What's that like for you to see people, with Valkyrie and the Genesis device and, Peter Preston and such? How does it feel?
The best way I can describe it is, and this is so cheesy, I apologize, but it's also true. Like, other than having children, this is the closest my best case scenario imagination for how something would happen occurred in almost complete sync with my imagination. I'm sure I've told you this before. I am and was obsessed with Eagle Moss. I have about 250 of their ships in my collection, not just Star Trek, Expanse, whatever.
Mm.
But I've seen pictures of our figures on people's shelves, and you can see the eagle moss below them, behind them, and it makes me want to cry. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen as it relates to all that we're doing with the consumer products. It's like that's what we wanted. We wanted to be on these shelves and be a part of the 60-year-old legacy of Star Trek toys.
And what a great time for this to land as well in Star Trek's 60th anniversary this year. Like, sort of lining up there, was it always targeting this specific date, or was it just
No,
like a happy coincidence?
no, it was a very happy coincidence. The only non-coincidence is that Wave 3 is the TOS bridge, is the TOS crew, and including Gene and Lucy, and then the bridge, of course. If it wasn't the 60th, I probably would have done the Enterprise refit bridge because that's my baby. But so the only thing connected to the 60th was Wave 3 and the bridge.
Tell us a bit more about the bridge, by the way. As I saw this announcement a month or a couple of months ago, was it? I can't remember now. So many things going on, but it was a surprise one. Didn't expect that to happen. So, yeah, tell us about the bridge.
So I have two theories behind the bridge. And, as I've told you before, I've never worked at another toy company. I have no training. The only training I have is actually directing toys that made us. So, I mean, that may sound like a joke, and to a certain degree it is, but it's also true. And one of the things that we're trying to do with our line is build this community. It's the reason why when we announced that we were doing it, we had the email address already in the press release. And we've received well over 8 or 9,000 letters at this point, or emails, and they're very helpful. So we're really trying to build this community. And one of the things, it's funny, if anybody knows me, I'm usually known for Star Trek or Star Wars, little expanse. But what a lot of people don't know is I am a massive G.I. Joe collector. I love G.I. Joe. So I have almost all of A Real American Hero, and I have a lot of classified, like a lot, a lot. I would say, other than Star Wars and Star Trek and maybe Batman, G.I. Joe is my biggest collection. And one of the things that I always thought was really interesting and brilliant was this idea that they have the USS flag. And what the USS flag did, 30 years ago, was it basically acted as like a hub for your collection, but also your play. So I didn't have one, but my friend Edmund did. So when I would go to his house, I'd have a bag of my G.I. Joe figures. I might bring my skyscraper, Sky Striker, and we'd play on his flag. So from the beginning, I wanted to do our version of the flag. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, and this is again, I didn't go to business school, I didn't go to Hasbro school, whatever. But I've always found it interesting that BMW can basically sell its entry-level car for $5,000 more than Honda's entry-level car Honda's car has more gadgets, better rims, but it's $5,000 cheaper than the BMW. And in my opinion, that's because BMW has a 7 Series and even an 8 Series. So you're basically paying that extra 5 grand for the logo. So I wanted to have this big, crazy thing, but I cheated. I changed the conditions of the test, so to speak, where you don't have to buy the whole thing.
Mm.
So for crazy people like me, you can buy all 12 sections and you can have this big crazy bridge and hope you have an attic you can put it in or whatever. But for normal people or regular people, I would say, you don't have to buy 12. You could buy one, you could buy two, you could buy three, and that'll be your diorama that you could put your entire collection on. Or you could just buy the captain's chair, or you could just buy the helm. My personal favorite is the turbo lift section because it comes with the dedication plaque. So we wanted to have this like kind of not one size fits all because it's either 12 or 1 or 2 or 9 or whatever, but we wanted to offer the community a base for their collection. And that really is what it was designed to do. And also keep everyone excited. Keeping people excited. Like I'm a huge G.I. Joe classified guy. And I cannot wait till my Snowcat arrives. Like I'll never forget when they announced they were doing the Snowcat. I literally couldn't believe it. So that's what we want to do for our line is have this big, crazy, shiny object that everything else filters into.
That sounds fantastic. And I think when you mentioned about the diorama, suits really well because people can just have that one section and I can envision it on display like the Spock picture there with his console. Because where am I going to fit that massive bridge? So,
well, I mean, the truth is, and this may sound weird, I should be like, buy all 12, buy all 12. But the truth of the matter is, definitely 3 and maybe 2 of the sections is big enough to really have a nice display. Like you don't need all 12 unless you want all 12. So I'm trying to get buyers at both levels. I want to get the people at the top who want all 12 like I would, and I want to get people who either don't have $600 or don't have the room for it. I'll be completely honest with you, and I could be stupid, but I am more worried about people not having room for it than I am not being able to afford it, because it's basically going to be roughly $50 a month. So that's not too bad. By the way, it lights up. It has sound effects. It doesn't have music. But
how big was it again? Talk about the size. How big was like one section of it?
Dude, it's huge. It's absolutely fucking huge. I mean, it's like 18 inches tall. I mean, don't quote me to this, but I mean, it's massive.
That's 18 inches tall. It's bigger than my head.
Maybe like 15 inches. It's a little smaller than that. But it's also wide. I mean, this thing, when it's fully built, I'm still not.
I didn't realize it's that big.
I mean, it's going to be like 2.5, 3 feet wide.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's huge. In my office, I wish I was in my office right now. I could show you this. I have a Rachel Garrett standing in front of the prototype. And I mean, there's like 4 inches between the top of her head and the ceiling.
That is
like
crazy.
it's that big. Yeah. Yeah, it's big. Big.
I can't wait to see that like when it's properly revealed, and hopefully you guys will have it at like a toy show or like a Comic-Con in the future.
Well, we're gonna have the whole thing at San Diego. So I don't know if it's gonna be painted or not, but we'll have the whole thing at San Diego. But we have a fair amount of not a fair amount, but we have a bunch of announcements for it at WonderCon next weekend.
Fantastic. I'll keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll give you a something to keep an eye on. Dedication plate. Dedication plate. I am I'm very excited. We have an idea for something we're doing with it.
Fantastic. That's ominous but interesting.
I think you'll like it.
Let's talk about the figures again. So obviously we've got Wave 2 now. That's on pre-sale. Then there's also Wave 3. And have anything from Wave 4 been spoken about yet?
Yeah, we announced Wave 4 as well. So it's Perfect. 4 waves and the bridge.
So firing on all cylinders for the Star Trek collection then. What's the response been like for the additional waves? Because the Wave 1 made a big big announcement, lots of excitement for that. How's reactions been to 2, 3, and 4?
Well, only waves 1 and 2 are on sale. Wave 2 has been on sale for probably half as long as wave 1, and it's outselling wave 1. So that's all you got to know. Um, and wave 3 will go on sale later this year, and wave 4 will probably go on sale early 2027. We announced aggressively our plans early because the number one letter we got in our emails and comments and everything was, I'm not supporting another Star Trek company that's going to do 4 figures and stop. So, with Paramount's blessing, and I thank them very much for letting us do this because it was highly weird and unusual, but we announced 4 waves before the first one was in anybody's hands, including mine. So, but we did that to make people feel comfortable we were in it for the long haul. And that was the direct result of our mailing list.
That's fantastic. And you spoke there about the email beforehand. Are you still getting emails to this day about
Every
this?
day.
Yeah.
Every day. A lot of the pictures I'm posting are from those emails.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And people can still send in now they've got the figure
Every
in their
day.
hand.
And it's funny, it's a great question because it's evolved. So between the day we announced and the day we started shipping in March, 99.9% of the letters were about ideas for other figures. After we started shipping about 3 weeks ago, it is now probably 80% just people so happy with their figures and sending us pictures, and then 20% ideas. And I've been posting pictures of the ideas. Somebody sent me, it's my favorite one.
I have a feeling I know what
Someone
you're going to
said,
say.
which one? What do you think I'm
Is
going
it
to
the
say?
whale one or no?
No,
Okay.
no. I love that.
It's
But
cracking.
no, my favorite is someone sent a beautiful render of the old woman who was on
Yes.
dialysis, and it's her with the dialysis machine. And by the way, I cannot tell you how many people DM me or commented or whatever, being like, "Yeah, I'd buy that." So
I think
yeah,
I
so
saw the trip pregnant one yesterday. Was it Commander Tucker?
yes,
Because
that
I was
that
going to
that
reply
came in.
going, make this figure. And then I looked again and went, oh no, that's something else.
Yeah, no, I love that. And by the way, some of the ideas are already on the short list that were very close. Somebody sent us that crazy alien with the ears from Star Trek 3. That was a runner-up for Wave 2 and Wave 4. So I am hoping to make him one day. I really want to do the fucking guy whose chest blows up and the alien comes out from the end of season 2, which is banned in the UK, I assume you know.
Which
You know what I'm
I'm struggling to remember now. Which one are we talking about?
Oh, it's the craziest, other than the racist one in season 1. It's the craziest next gen episode ever made. It's called Conspiracy.
Is this the Parasite
And
one?
it's the Parasite one,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't think
And
I'm not sure if it's banned, but I do remember it's where its head explodes at the end, isn't it? Or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
whole thing is,
The
well, it doesn't
Commander Remick, I think he
explode.
was called. Yeah,
They burn off his face with phasers.
it's very.
It's his stomach that explodes. And that also, I would say, very high odds that's going to be in Wave 6.
Wow.
Part of what I love about the character, in addition to how ridiculous that scene is and everything, but my favorite thing about that character is that episode sets up a massive plot line that goes nowhere.
It's never
That
touched again.
literally they pretend it doesn't happen. Like it's never talked about again. So that's very high on my list to do him.
Thank you to Star Trek Online for actually continuing that plot line. Like at least it's done in there.
God bless him. I need to get more into Star Trek Online. It's
You
a
should.
blind spot
Yeah.
for me.
16th anniversary, brilliant time. Like
Yeah. No, I got to get into that. Where do you play?
I am on PC myself,
Okay.
so I just do all my gaming on PC. So yeah, I know they've got it on Xbox and PlayStation, I think, but I'm not sure how it works on there. So
Yeah, I got to get into it. But yes, I love that. Oh my God, do I love that character in that scene.
So you mentioned like Wave 6 there. So obviously four's been announced. So is 5 and 6 in the planning stages? Is that what you're up to at the minute?
Five is locked.
Hmm.
We know exactly what we're doing. Seven is locked as
Oh
well,
wow,
by the
okay.
way, because those are the casts.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
it's
know the
alternating,
cast
isn't
we're
it? So
doing. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah. So we know the cast we're doing in five, and we know the cast we're doing in seven.
nice.
And then we have submitted to Paramount. We usually submit 12 ideas for 10 figures, and we're going back and forth with them now to lock in who we're doing.
Fantastic. No slowing down for you guys over there.
No, no, it's wave one did better than our projections, much better. Um, and wave two, I told you, I think, is doing better than wave
Yeah,
one. And wave one had Valkyris and Peter Preston. Wave two had Kirk and Janeway. So, the more we start doing, we'll never do the same thing others have done except for the bridge crews. But even
yeah,
our bridge crews are going to be a little different.
yeah.
But that said, no, we really want to keep filling in the gaps in everybody's collection, including mine.
That's fantastic. I'm definitely excited for the Year of Hell Janeway, as I think that's one I'm definitely looking forward to.
As am I. As am I.
Well, Brian, we're nearing the end of our time today, so thank you so much for sharing your insight into this. I guess if we can leave some final words to the Starship community about the figure collection, is there anything you'd like to pass on?
I would just like to say, I'm very grateful for the support we got during, when we had to stop shipping. I said this over and over again, so I'll say it again. Less than 1% of orders attempted to cancel. We found a lot of people who were going on and on about canceling had never ordered from anybody.
Hmm.
We talked to Amazon, we talked to Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, we ran names, some guy would be like, I'm going to kill you for lying to us. I'm going to sue you, blah, blah, blah. And then we'd run their name through our DTC and all these other companies and hadn't even ordered anything. So I would just say thank you to everybody. But I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but whatever, I will. My favorite thing, I mean, it was great. You would see people leave kind of jerk comments, and before I could even say anything, other people were lighting them up, and so I didn't even really have to say anything after a while. So just having the community come together, it's beautiful. And the other thing I would also like to tell people is I'm very happy with the figures, but we can do better and we
Hmm.
will. So, I mean, wave two is going to be better than wave one. We're doing stuff with our factory. We're working with other factories now. So our goal is to keep pushing the quality forward without jacking up prices. Wave two is the same as wave one. Probably going to have a small price increase for wave three, but it'll be small, be a dollar or
Hmm.
two, nothing crazy. And I really, as great as the money is, and you need the money to keep going, don't get me wrong, it really is about seeing these pictures and just seeing these videos. And I got an email today from Ike, saying thank you for finally making my character into a figure.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Do you think I ever thought in a million years I would get an email like that? It's crazy.
That is crazy, yeah. Well, Brian, thank you for joining us on Trek Central once again. It's always a pleasure to speak with you and nerd out about Star Trek, and hopefully we'll do it many more times this year in the 60th anniversary. So,
Thank you, and I appreciate everything, and I hope I see you in Vegas and or San Diego.